Benedict XVI, then Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, was the head of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, a powerful Vatican office that cracks down on deviant moral or theological issues. Both Ratzinger and the congregation's work have come under attack by abuse victims for allegedly rebuffing or moving slowly on calls to remove molesting priests, essentially granting impunity to them and letting them keep ministering to minors. Yeah. Bertone and other cardinals have rushed to Benedict's defense, saying both as the congregation's chief and as former German archbishop, he kept a hard line against abuse. That hard line allowed him to take 2 years to respond to a query from an American priest, or cardinal, I forget who was looking for advice on how to deal with what he knew was a pedophile priest in his diocese. They wanted to move to take some action against him, and he wrote to Rome for direction, for assistance. And 2 years later, Ratzinger wrote back. Wow. And basically said that we have to, I'm paraphrasing, I wish I had the thing available now, but for the good of the church, yeah, we have to make it go away.
That sounds similar to something I read. My memory can be failing. Didn't I read somewhere where a priest had asked to be removed?
Asked himself, possibly. I don't remember that.
Right, and then they said, and they didn't allow him for like a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the exact case, but that does sound familiar.
I may have the link in my sent items.
Yeah.
So it's not too surprising then that the highest court in Italy rejected today an appeal by 3 same-sex couples seeking the right to marry.
Here we go.
The Constitutional Court judged the request related to gay unions not admissible and unfounded.
That's a shame.
I have the link here to that story.
Yeah. Sort of like if you don't know what you're talking about, keep your mouth shut. I don't know.
Which could lead us to Mike Huckabee.
Oh, yeah. Feel free.
Mike Huckabee's had, former 2-time governor, I think of, was it Arkansas? And oh well, I thought it was here, but yeah, former 2-time governor and 2008 candidate for president and likely candidate in 2012. He has had some long-standing views that got brought back into the public eye recently when he did an interview with a New Jersey college journalist. The college journalist may have hyped his comments a little bit to get some extra, links to the story, but the core of his comments haven't changed.
They're pretty nasty.
And they're pretty nasty. Mike Huckabee is, first of all, the state that he was governor of does not recognize same-sex marriage, and they have passed a law saying that no unmarried couples can adopt children, effectively barring same-sex couples since they're not allowed to be married.
Right, okay.
He says that allowing gays and lesbians to marry is as inappropriate as legalizing incest, polygamy, and drug use. He also condemned the practice of allowing gay couples, same-sex couples, to adopt, saying that children are not puppies and we should not allow gay couples to adopt children just to see where that experiment goes.
That is so horribly insulting. Okay. I want to say something really...
Children are not puppies.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, understand. But having them in a loving home with one parent or 2 parents, even if they're same sex, is still better than lost in the system.
Yeah.
or being bounced around among foster homes,
Yeah.
or being orphaned
Or on the street.
and on the streets.
Yeah,
And studies have shown that a two-parent household, same-sex or opposite sex, provides the best environment for rearing children because it allows one parent's opinions and to be tempered by the other. You end up creating a power sharing when it comes to raising the kids, and a couple does tend to make better decisions. And it's not to impugn, single-parent households that do a phenomenal job raising kids.
with limited resources.
With limited resources,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But that's still, no matter how you look at it, it's still better than the kid being on the street or
Yeah.
Right.
sort of locked in the system. Bouncing from one foster home to another. That's not good for kids. What a horrible, stupid thing to say.
He rails against the notion, as he sees it, that activists are asking all of society to accommodate this minority's lifestyle. He says that would be like saying, well, there's a lot of people who like to use drugs, so let's just go ahead and accommodate those who want to use drugs. There are some people who believe in incest, so we should accommodate them and legalize incest. There are some people that believe in polygamy, so we should accommodate them and make polygamy legal as well.
Only a moron would make those remarks.
Right.
It's just, okay.
He says,
You can't respond to it on an intellectual
You
level
can't, no, because it's just stupid.
because it's asinine.
well, and this will compound your feeling. He says, I don't have to prove that marriage is between a man and a woman in a relationship for life. They, the same-sex couples, have to prove that two men can have an equally defined relationship called marriage that somehow can mean the same thing.
Well, okay, so who says that marriage should only be, who said this to begin with? Where does this come from? Where is it written that this is the golden standard? I don't understand. Anyway, we actually have a phone call.
Well, yeah, to call this argument specious insults speciousness.
He also, to add insult to injury in his comments, he also said that AIDS patients are, quote unquote, carriers of a plague and should be isolated from the rest of society.
Carriers of
Okay.
stupidity should too.
Yeah.
He says, marriage has historically never meant anything other than a man and a woman. It has never meant two men, two women, a man and his pet, or a man and a whole herd of pets.
Okay, you know what? Just because something has happened historically doesn't make it right. We prove this every day.
Right.
Slavery
Slavery happened historically.
Yes.
That's
We
unquestionably
keep
wrong.
changing the things that are wrong. Is that what we're supposed to do?
Right.
Well, on top of which, this notion of marriage is a relatively modern one, only in the last probably 500, 700 years. Prior to that, marriage was primarily used to establish lineage, to establish inheritance rights, to establish property rights. That's why the bride is given away by her family, by her father, to her husband. I am transferring this property to her womb
Sometimes
to
with
you.
dowry.
Yeah, the man has to buy it. Yeah.
Oh, did we
We lost
lose
our
that
caller.
I think we
I'm
lost
sorry.
our caller.
Call back. We'll answer it. I promise.
But yeah, this notion of, our culture right now is very child-centric, and I think that's moving in a better direction than we were in before. But children were property.
Yeah.
Wives were property. Marriage was not a romantic thing until around the 1500s. And even then, the notion of a romantic marriage was one of a chaste marriage, where you loved someone and appreciated them, and you never got into anything. It's only been in the modern age, 1600s, 1700s up to today, where we've gotten this notion of marriage as a loving, equal relationship between two people that potentially has children. And in this day and age, there's a lot of people saying that it's not a marriage unless you have children. That's how they're defining it, which is really,
Totally
really, yeah. There's a lot of heterosexual couples who are married that can't have children, and that doesn't make their marriage any less real.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
On top of which, he's defining marriage basically as between two people in a relationship